Hello everyone, and welcome to this video where I'm super excited to announce the finishing and the release of the newest fire truck, the ALTA Buckel Rodeo boom truck. Now, it's been a while in the making, and it's been months since I said I was going to release the fire trucks. Stay tuned until the end of the video to see some of my upcoming creations. Originally, this truck was supposed to just be a crew cab version of the same truck that I've released in the past, but as I got to thinking, I'm like, this really needs to have a boom, and we need to do something a little different because I don't like releasing just the same creation over and over again, and this really turned out spectacular. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this video where I explain how you can use this boom truck and all the features that it does have. Here you can see all three fire trucks. On the left hand side we have our off-road rig that has a snorkel, and on the far right we have kind of our oil rig recovery and service fire truck. It's small and intended to just kind of service the oil rigs. This one here is the biggest out of all of them, and it has the boom on top. Now obviously you may recognize this design as coming from the ALTA sort of MANBASKET cherry picker truck, but what is different is that truck was entirely different platform. It was using the Stampede platform, whereas here I went ahead and used the pickup truck platform. Now in retrospect I probably could have stuck with the larger platform, the larger truck, but this pickup truck works just fine, and I've even upgraded the engine for it. Now, what you will note is the actual basket is very much different than what you see on the cherry picker truck behind. And the reason for that is not only have I repositioned the MANBASKET, here it's facing inside. On this one, it's actually facing on the outside, and it has the capability to fire water. And obviously for a fire truck, I wanted more than just like a rescue ladder to kind of save people. I wanted to actually have the capability in that basket to put out fires. If we spawn the truck up, we'll just take a look at the exterior first. So obviously it has the basket there and this crane, but you will find here that we have our standard, call it fire hose as well. So you get that on the side, you get a large water tank. I've added this pressure release, so you could actually release the pressure from the tank and prevent unnecessary buildup of pressure. We have all sorts of life-saving gear, firefighting gear, and radiation gear, so these guys can put out all kinds of problems. And then on the side here we have our water intake, so you can actually release this thing and drop it down into the water where it can collect water and fill up the tank. So this is a nice little feature to have. I think you just kind of have to play with it to get it back connected again, but once you get it connected, I mean, you could just drive like this, not a big deal, and it may just connect itself. There you go. Up top on the roof you have another in, so you could pump water in, but there's no pump, so this is just like a very like a dumb connector, nothing else is there. So if you have a water tank somewhere or whatever, you can actually pump in from the top there, or you can use the pump in here. So whatever you choose, you can use that. Now we get to the interior. Like I said, it's a crew cab, so you have 3 seats in the back, 2 in the front. We have the transfer case as well, which is an interesting feature. I don't know if it's very useful to use, but it does allow you some adjustability for the transfer case or the drivetrain. And of course we have the megaphone here, and we have the life-saving gear inside the glove compartment. So other than that, the interior is pretty much standard with all the trucks that I have. And we get now to the fun bit. Oh yeah, there's a winch on the front, I forgot to mention as well, and I think I didn't turn on the parking brake. No, we're still in drive. So actually, one thing that I forgot to mention, inside here we have the emergency light button is right in the center console, and that's how you get all the lights flashing on the exterior. And from the driver's seat you can turn on the either the bullhorn or the emergency siren, or yelp. So if you're trying to get through traffic, you can adjust it as needed. And that brings us now to the basket. So what the basket actually has is a little ladder system on the side, but it has a built-in hose. So I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a hose that connects to a winch that's right inside this boom part. And what it does is, as you move this up, it'll automatically extend that winch, which is super important. Otherwise, you will end up limiting your movement. So this is extend boom and the hose winch. So it works simultaneously. And as you go up, it'll actually be extending that winch constantly. So you can see that it has a little bit of slack. And as you get near the top here, it'll start to kind of drop down. And that's not a big deal, but you do have a wide array of movements that you can actually get with this boom. So like that's a pretty substantial amount of climb that it has. And now you can even hold height if you are getting a little heavy. So maybe you're carrying people, like you could put people in this basket with you. And I've made it a little bit bigger so you can move around it as needed. Now what we do have is a button that puts the winch out only. So this is to use only if you're pivoting the boom or if you were moving or climbing it without extending this. So it's pretty much just to extend the winch slack. The only way to bring slack in is to lower this. So you keep lowering it and eventually it will lower it. But you see we're keeping the height, so you can't use that button with that button. You have to use them by themselves. But anyways, as we go down here, you can see that the cable is kind of getting tighter and tighter, and eventually it will come in here and really tighten itself almost too much. In that case, you may want to give it some extra slack like that. If ever you see there's like phantom forces kind of pulling this thing to one side or something, just release the slack and it'll most likely go away. Now down here we have these two valves, and this is where the fun part begins. So what you can do is either open this up, which is enable the spray nozzle, and as you can see, all of a sudden it shoots right out of there. And that lets you aim using the whole basket itself. So you can adjust the basket as needed and it will shoot. You can also use the arrow keys to kind of give it a bit of an angle. Now obviously this is a bit nuts and crazy, but it's definitely useful if you have a wider fire to increase this like that, and it'll kind of spray more of it. Or if you want to be very direct, you can just hold the arrow key down and you can pretty much shoot with a very fine accuracy. Now that's this valve here. You can close that up. Now this valve here actually allows you to take this hose, attach it here, and use it yourself. Sometimes this just gives you greater versatility, and especially the fact that you can actually jump into a building while holding this hose and kind of make sure you can attack the fire wherever it may be. So these two things are there. You could use them both at the same time, but you may lose some pressure, as you can see. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but that is your choice to do with it as you wish. Now to get this basket back into its position, you have to make sure it aligns with that little, call it connector here. And once you drop it into place and center it on the truck, all you do is turn off the key and it should attach itself back to where it was. And at this point you can retract this hose if you want. I guess you got to turn this key on for that, but you could retract this so it's not kind of dangling, so like that, and turn the key off, and as it pops into place you should be good to go. So that is the newest ALTA, or AEO, ALTA Emergency Operations Boom Fire Truck. I hope you all enjoy it and put it to good use. Yes, I'm aware with it does have a very low ground clearance, so maybe it's not best for off-roading, but it's not intended for off-roading. It's intended for structural fires, not off the beaten path, but rather like putting out fires as you may come across them. So I hope you enjoy this new creation. Let me know in the comments what you think. Stay tuned for more content. Stay tuned for more creations. I'm currently clearing my backlog. This was one of the creations that was in the backlog. Finally got it out, so super happy for that. And it kind of clears my time for new creations. So content creations, you will have a bunch of build challenges going on my Discord server, so make sure to check that out. And as always, happy Stormworksing, and in addition to that, happy New Year's, everyone. For those of you that have made it this far in the video, I do want to showcase some other things that I have on the backlog. Of course, I'm working very diligently with Shepio 5, and we are creating this ALTA gate is what it's called, and it's supposed to be the facility that the ALTA rig can kind of live within without being open to kind of outside elements and people that may want to intrude or trespass. So the ALTA gate will have two gates. It'll have some living quarters, a generator, a fuel storage, and access to the pipeline. So it'll be found on all three of the oil drilling sites, and it'll be given as an add-on where you can use it and use it with the oil rig of your choice. So that is this facility. Of course, you've seen other footage of this facility, but I really do like how it's all coming together. It looks very industrial and perfect for what I'm trying to build ALTA as. The second thing here that you may see is this smaller oil rig, and the purpose of this, it's actually called the ALTA drill, so it's not the ALTA land rig. It just has the drilling facility and a small rooftop patio and helipad. So there are no living quarters here. The living quarters are actually found inside this room, where you have kind of just like a little resting area with a TV and a bed for shift work. So it does not have all the other facilities, but it will hopefully run a little smoother on some lower end computers and people that just don't want to have kind of that massive meeting room and living room area. So these two creations are works in progress that are hopefully going to be out here soon, but I wanted to give you a little preview before the end of the year at some of the things that I'm working on.